Hi, I'm Catherine Mora. I'm the head coach and director of publishing at Change Empire Books, and we help coaches, speakers, and aspiring thought leaders write and publish beautiful books and get them out into the world. Today's topic on Cat's Book Chat is how to be a bestseller. I had to check my notes for that one. How to be a bestseller. So it isn't actually important for you to be a bestseller in order to be able to use your book as a tool to reach your business objectives, like getting speaking gigs, getting media, new clients, charging more, etc. However, lots of people obviously want to know how to be a bestseller, so let's cover that today. Now, being a bestseller is really all about timing. It's about everything coming together at the one time in the 1 week so that your book sells multiple copies and it becomes a bestseller by selling them all in a very condensed period. And that just means the timing of everything has to be correct. Now, on something like Amazon, being a bestseller is really not that difficult because there are some categories where to be a bestseller, you only need to sell 3 books a day. There are other categories where you need to sell 1,000 books a day. So it really has got to do with how many you sell in which category, and nobody knows what those categories are. There are some different calculators around. I don't think they're that accurate, to be honest with you, but there are lots of tricks to listing yourself in multiple categories, and then you just see which one you end up being a bestseller in. That's what the people do who will guarantee you bestseller status. Obviously, they can guarantee it because they know exactly what to do and how, but we're going to run through a few of those today. So let me look here. Okay, so the first thing is marketing with your audience. Don't write your book and then wait till you're finished and say, hey everyone, I've written a book, buy it now. Don't do that. Market the book with your audience and just keep them involved as you would with anything that you're working on in your life. So you might be going to the gym to lose weight. You would post about going to the gym and the salad you're eating and all the things that you're doing every day. It's exactly the same thing with writing your book. You write every time you have a writing session. You show a selfie of you with your coffee or sitting at the computer or sitting at a cafe, or today you had a great writing session, today you had a crappy writing session. Whatever it is, keep your audience involved and people will get interested in the fact that you're writing a book. You can also share tips from your book. As you're writing, you might say, working on one of the chapters of my book today about self-worth or whatever, and I was thinking that one of the most important things for women to know is blah, 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 blah. So you're just sharing your little gems of value as you're going along. And what it's doing is just showing people what you're up to and what your book is about. And if they're interested, they will follow you and ask you questions about it. And that's one of the key things, because close to your launch date, you can actually put together a launch team of people who will help you promote it just a little bit, and people who will write reviews for you. So that takes me to the next thing, and that is reviews. Becoming a bestseller, it's very important to have reviews. Now, even if you have a pre-sale period, your reviews can't be written until the day of launch. So you'll need to have people who have read a copy in advance of the launch date, and they all write a review on the day of launch, which obviously you'll have to coordinate. And that's one of the ways to become a bestseller. When you have a lot of reviews, you can run some ads, you can have listings everywhere, and as soon as people see that social proof, it will help them to want to buy it. So this takes me to the next thing, having a pre-sale period. That can work really, really well because all of the books that are bought during that pre-sale period, they all count as sales on the day of launch. So if you sold 150, 200, 300, whatever, in that pre-sale period, on launch day, that will be 300 sales. And in some categories, obviously that's more than enough to be a bestseller. So that's another way that you can get those sales. Look, I had a 3-month pre-launch for my first book. It was probably a little bit long. People tend to be into instant gratification and they want to get the book straight away. But still, it can help. Even if you had a 1-week pre-launch, it just helps that all of those sales will come out on the day, and that helps you with getting bestseller status. Okay, getting onto email lists is another thing. There are lots of email lists around where they have subscribers who are waiting for books just like yours, and those subscribers sign up to find out when there are free or cheap books coming out. Yes, you probably need to list your book free or cheap in the first week or two, because if you want to be a bestseller, It isn't necessarily going to be about changing lives with your book, although some will be changed if you've written a great book. But in those first couple of weeks, it's really about the numbers. And there are going to be people who download it and don't read it, and I know that kills you, but we're talking about being a bestseller. It's all about the numbers, and therefore being cheap or free and being on these email lists will really help. What else have I got on my list? Okay, so promotion. My eye's really itchy. Promotion, podcast interviews, media, guest posts, articles, anything that you can arrange that can all come out on the week of your launch will all help you get to bestseller status, because the more people that see and hear about your book in a positive manner, the more people will buy it, the more likely you are to be a bestseller. And of course, it depends what bestseller list you're going for. Some are easier than others to get onto. So blog tours are fantastic as well. They're not available for every genre, but for lots of genres there are blog tours, which means there's a person who is connected with lots of people that have blogs around a certain genre, and those people on the blogs are always looking for great content. So you'll have to give them a copy of your book to read, and then they might want to interview you or do an excerpt from the book or get you to do a guest post. There are any number of things that those people would want you to do, and they'll all come out around that launch period as well. And this is another thing that can help you reach bestseller status. And then really it's official marketing and also publicity. So if you have a marketing strategy, and you really do need a strategy with your book, no matter if you want it to be a bestseller or not, because books don't just sell themselves. You need to strategically market your book and yourself or your services, because that's where you make the money around books. And then publicity as well. If you can get a publicist on board, even better. I was in about 23 outlets in 20 days when I hired a great publicist. It makes all the difference, because people are seeing you, seeing your book, they're buying it. Voila, you could be a bestseller quite easily, definitely in some categories. So that's, to sum it all up, let me just read over my list again. It's all about timing, your marketing activities coming together in the 1 week, marketing with your audience, getting onto those email lists, getting reviews, podcast interviews, guest posts, blog tour, marketing, publicity. All of those things come together in the 1 week, you're a bestseller. Now, this is why I generally like to work with people who have a business, because it's very hard to make all these things happen when you're someone who's written a book and you have no business to align it with and pay for those things and put the time into. It's up to you, but certainly I'm happy to have a chat. If you do want to write a book, just message me or send me a PM, comment below, and I'll also put a link below to my book writing and publishing checklist. I hope this has been helpful. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.